Please, I'd like you to put your hands together as I'll be welcoming our keynote speaker for the second time running. I think it is safe to say His Excellency, the Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Please put your hands together for Barrister Femi Falana. I'd appreciate if the applause matches his magnitude, his reputation, his pedigree, and his impact. All right.
Thank you. Please sit down. Well, I'm delighted to be in your midst once again. I would like to thank very sincerely and tremendously Reverend Father Tony Odio and the young people that have helped him to put this together. Please, can we give them a round of applause? For Africans, we suffer in the midst of plenty. Ours is the richest continent on earth. Yet, we suffer in the hands of the rulers in the countries in Africa. I say rulers deliberately. I didn't say leaders, because most of them simply rule our people without leading them aright. The MC was saying now that he would like to come back as an African, but as a Ghanaian. Unfortunately, the difference between Nigerians and Ghanaians can really not be identified. If you go to Accra today, in the country of Kwame Nkrumah, you hardly see any sign of development, because the riches of that country, the wealth of that country, the wealth has been sold to those who once enslaved and colonized us. The wealth of our country, Nigeria, the wealth of the Commonwealth is being cornered by an infinitesimal minority of people. You hear now in this country that where ordinary people, internet fraudsters, people who call Yahoo boys and girls, are being railroaded to jail. Those who loot the treasury to the tune of 80 billion, 100 billion, and so on and so forth, have been celebrated either by our universities, by our traditional rulers who give them chieftaincy title, or even by the country that give them national honor. That is not our culture. The culture of each of our countries is that you don't honor a thief. If you are identified in the primary school as a son of a thief, you'll be ashamed. And that was why the late fella Nicola Pokuti said, "Can you ask me one day as a lawyer? Femi, what do you people they call money laundering? A thief is a thief. Why do you launder money? Call the criminal a thief so that his family members will be ashamed. But when you say money laundering, it has no meaning to the majority of our people. So we must interrogate the language that we speak. As Africans, we must find out where will be our names. Majority of our names were given to us. You know, after enslaving Africans for about 500 years, You are told in our history books that some missionaries set up organizations that liberated Africans from slavery. It's not true. There were slave revolts. Slaves rioted against slavery. And that was when people said, we need to organize these people. At that time, you already have the Industrial Revolution. And so slavery was no longer necessary. But those who enslaved us turned around to colonize our people. Now they came with the Bible and the Quran from the other side. And like a poet once said in South Africa, when they came, we had the land and they had the Bible. They asked us to close our eyes and pray. By the time we opened our eyes, they had the land and we had the Bible. Up to today, nobody says you should not worship your God. Please, let me go to heaven the way I like. But don't use the Bible or the Quran to deceive Africans. We pray more than any nation on earth. Nigerians pray more than any country in the world. Are you aware? We have more churches and mosques than any country in the world. But today, the greatest sins are committed here. So we must begin to ask our pastors, our imams, what are you teaching us? Again, like somebody said, teacher, don't teach me nonsense. So we must begin to ask ourselves, why are you praying for the rich? Those who have looted the wealth of our country. Why the rig elections? Why do you organize Thanksgiving service? To honor criminality. And so for me, as Africans, we must begin to ask questions in our homes. We must promote democracy in our homes. We must get our children to embrace democracy, rule of law. We have students there. I'm sure you can hear me. When you get home, please, ask your parents, why are they speaking English to you at home? Please, challenge your parents to teach you local languages. Because, and tell your parents, Africans are the only people in the world that speak foreign languages to their children. No other group in the world does it. Only Africans. And you know, we want to be civilized. We have come and greet your uncle. No. No. That's primitive. You must speak your native language to your children. Otherwise, our languages are going to extinction. They are going to be destroyed and forgotten completely. I remember I once, the late Chief Ganifani called my home. And my young daughter picked up the phone. I said, who is speaking? And Gani had to ask, is that not Femi's house? That you're speaking English to me. I had to pick the phone and apologize. He didn't know you were, sir. Now today, the friends of my children asked them, where did you learn your Yoruba from? I said, at home, of course. It was a struggle in my home. When our children were growing up, my wife wanted to be civilized by speaking English to them. I said, no. You and I learned our English in school. Why are we speaking English to our children? And today, they are better for it. And I'm challenging you to ask your parents to teach you your local languages. You'll be richer for it. You will need it one day. The other one, the names we bear. When I was coming, a young man came to introduce himself to me. I'm Abraham. No, Ibrahim. No. Abraham. Something. I said, young man, what is your local name? He gave me a beautiful name. Now, every Nigerian, every African has a name, a native name. And that name has a meaning. when they say you are a stone or a savage, yeah. What does that mean? I'm looking for savagery in this age and time. Father, today, I'm going to find out the original name of this street. What is Babylon? These were people who colonized us and gave us their names so that we can remember them forever. No. We must change the names of foreign exploiters, those who came here to colonize us. Secondly, we must bear our own names. The most stupid one I've seen in recent time, a friend sent me a text this morning. He has given himself a new name. In bracket, he put his actual name so that I will remember. And I asked my wife, what is going on? Can you change your father's name? You can change your own name, but not your father's name. So if you are Falana, I can't say I'm Olorunlana. No, now. No. Because at the time, my forefathers had that name. If I paved the way for them. So I can change my own name. I can name my children, but I cannot name my father. It's stupid. It's un-African. So if you are Okunlana, you cannot say you are Olorunlana. No, that's not the name your father gave you. That's not the name of your father. But you know, because of our colonial mentality, we want to show that we are good Christians or good Muslims. So we change our names. The last point I want to make is on the economy. Africans are in trouble today. Poverty is increasing in the continent. Why? DRC, Democratic Republic of the Congo, is the richest country in the world in terms of natural resources. Yet, since 1960, that country has known no peace. Because imperialist nations are profiting. They are mining gold, diamond, and other resources from that country. It is going on here. They have just advertised new round of oil blocks. No, it's illegal. You cannot take oil from my backyard. And then you are giving to your friends. No. The law says, Section 44 of the Constitution, Section 44.3, all the mineral resources of Nigeria shall be acquired by the government in the interest of the Nigerian people. So you cannot now give them to your friends. Currently, they are also giving licenses for people to mine solid minerals. And people are making money. They are smiling to the banks at the expense of our people. And our people are suffering. Today, the queue, people have to sleep in filling stations. It shouldn't be so. We are one of the richest countries in terms of oil. But we import fuel, export crude. Now, Dangote is importing crude because NNPC cannot give him enough crude to refine. So when we didn't have refineries functioning in Nigeria, we're exporting crude. Now that some refineries are beginning to work, they have to import crude. These are the questions we must begin to ask those who are in Abuja, who are talking of, is it Renew Hope? Whatever they're calling it again. You know, they always have something new. Okay? Jonathan called it transformation. Now it's Renewed Hope. But where is the hope? If the product you produce, your own product, gas, oil, and people have to suffer to even to get it to buy. At the new rate, you know, anytime they want to increase the price of fuel, they will suffer us first. So that you then say, even if it's 1,000 naira, let it be available, Joe. That's what they do to us. You are asking us to pay more for darkness, electricity tariff, all at the same time. And what have they done? They say we're increasing the salary of workers by 20-25%, whatever they call it. Meanwhile, you have increased electricity tariff by 250%. Now, price of fuel will be increased by another 200%. So we must begin to ask questions in gatherings like this. When we get home, we watch the television. You must promote democracy in your home and let your children and family members join you in questioning the government. And when you are asked to come out, I beg you, to demonstrate against oppression, to demonstrate against injustice. Don't say, these workers, why is the NSC and TUC, why are they always harassing the government? Why is Falana always embarrassing government? Leave the government. God has imposed them on us. No. God has not imposed oppression on us. So let us begin as Africans to ask questions. Let us read new books about Africa. Walter Rodney wrote a wonderful book. Father, please, in the schools you are going to mobilize young people, let us persuade school administrators to recommend some of these books as opposed to some of the books we are reading now. There's one beautiful one I will recommend. When we first met, I mentioned to you, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa by Walter Rodney. Walter Rodney said in that book in 1475, the streets of Benin were better than the streets of Portugal. Because the Oba of Benin and the King of Lisbon were changing ambassadors in the 15th century. Today, those countries, Portugal and others have moved. We are going down. And so we must begin to ask questions. If you have Lagos, they say Lagos is working. Honorable Permanent Secretary, they say Lagos is working. And we are asked to say Lagos is working. Is it in terms of drainage, electricity supply, water supply, good roads, security for our people? Those are the indices of development. And that is the only way to make our country work, to make our cities work. And Lagos must, please, lead the world. Honorable Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education, we thank you for coming here. But please, sir, when you go back, I'm pleading with you. And Lagos must lead the way. Let us change the syllabus of oppression. Syllabus that justifies oppression in our schools. For those of you speak Yoruba here, a poem was compulsory for all of us in the primary school. Murasi iṣẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi, iṣẹ́ la fi ń dẹni gíga, bí a kò bá rẹ́ni fẹ̀yìntì, bí ọ̀lẹ là ń rí, and so on and so forth. Every child was meant to recite that poem. That you have to hurry up and study very well. If you don't, you will suffer. Your parents may be the richest. Bàbá ilé lówó lọ́wọ́. Tó o bá gbójú lé wọn. Ó jẹ́ àkọ́bá jìyà fún. Now, what that poem is saying, your parents may be the richest in the world. If you rely on their wealth, you will suffer at the end of the day. So why don't you study very well and become great people? I thank you all for your attention. I wish I could have more time, but I'm sure very soon we'll have more cross-fertilization of ideas. Father, I only want to make a suggestion. Today is Workers' Day. Please, let us next year celebrate today on the African Day, I think, which is May 25. Once again, I thank you very much for this opportunity.
Wow.